Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And here we are out on the other side of the cabin. I'm going to show you the sun is on its way down out there. And I got a dog jumping up on me. No jumping up, girl. No. Weird dog grabs a hold of my shorts too and tries to pull them down. Anyway, you can see that the sun is already shadowing this set of panels, so that's going to cut out about 40% of my power there. And since it's hitting these at an angle, that's going to cut some power off of there. Same on those. So I haven't used anything all day because you see the wind is blowing, but it's also quite chilly out here. I think the high today was only in the low 80s. So, like I was telling one person, the weather out here in the deserts is really weird because it'll go from summer to winter overnight. And it hits real fast. But it's that time of year where it'll switch back again in a couple of days, and all of a sudden we'll be back in the hundreds again. So you got to keep your eye out for that. Anyway, I'm going to try to get around here if the dogs will let me through, following me around. They sure love the guy who has the food. Anyway, got my oil here ready to change the oil in the generator. I didn't run it today, but I do have to get out here and do an oil change on the generator. And I did use a lot of fuel. I think I used a half a tank of fuel yesterday. It's a 5-gallon tank, so that's quite a bit of fuel. So here we are. The charging has stopped now. And we're at 52.7 with still with full batteries. But you can see there's only 110 volts coming in on PV1 and PV2. They're only about a volt off from each other, so I got it pretty well balanced. But they're going to see how fast these batteries drain now that the power is or the charge is gone. And I've got some ceiling fans running inside. I'm going to also be doing some other stuff in there that'll use a little bit of electricity, and we'll see how fast it goes down from there. Oh, news on the contact with lead time. They did contact me with an email this morning saying that they are sending out the return shipping labels today, and I should get them tomorrow. And they said as soon as they receive the old batteries, they'll ship out new ones. I had to respond to them and say, hey, you're going to have to adjust your plan there a little bit, because if I ship out these 4 batteries and it's going to take 4 days to a week for you guys to get new batteries back to me, you know, and then I've got to charge each one independently. That's going to take at least a day, maybe a day and a half to do that before I can put them on there. And then I've got to let them sit for 24 hours after they're all charged and tied together. You know, I've got to have something running my refrigerators. Even if the batteries are low, I can crank on the generator and put a charge into them so that they feed the inverter to give me electricity in the cabin. And yes, I could wire the generator directly into my main panel and just run the generator. But do you know what it would cost me to run the generator for 4, maybe 5 days straight to keep everything from spoiling in my cabin? My God, why don't these people think? Well, I guess it's because they're in sales, not in living off grid. They don't understand the things we have to go through out here. But I did notice that it's getting time to start working on cleaning up and prepping the dog houses for the winter. You notice I have the carpet flaps held up so they can go in and out, and it stays cooler in there with the airflow. And they've torn the carpeting and stuff out of the bottom of it, but I got a whole bunch that I picked up on the side of the road that somebody had dumped from a carpet company, because it was all brand new carpeting remnants from what they had cut off from when doing an install. And I guess they changed things, because they used to have a recycle value on carpeting and padding. The carpet companies would keep that stuff because they got money for it. But I guess that's changed. So anyway, I got to get new carpeting cut for the insides and new carpeting cut for the flaps on these things, so I can have them all ready for when the winter comes. And then I might have to even make an extra dog house or two, because these dogs are all pretty big now. So I've got 12 of them here, and if they need to all squat together in one little cabin, then it's gonna, I know there'll be a fight that'll come up out of that, and it'll happen in the middle of the night when it's cold outside. All right, you guys, give it a break. Give it a break. No. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to fill you in on the details of what's going on. And while I'm working the rest of the details out with lead time on getting these batteries swapped out, I'm going to be doing some other videos in the meantime, because I don't want to bore you all with a day after day of the same thing. One thing I wanted to cover today was something that all you guys out there interested in, or you guys and gals out there interested in off-grid systems, is the pluses and minuses, or the pros and cons, and the differences. What are you doing? Why do you keep trying to pull my pants off? You little crazy dog. She keeps trying to pull my pants off. Anyway, the differences between, let's say, 12, 24, and 48 volt systems. All right, now I just switched from a 12 volt system to a 48 volt system. And what I learned when I did that was the 12 volt system, even though it has a lower voltage, it had a lot more amperage. And that amperage is important for things that are hard start, like induction motors, like the motor on my my well pump. And the shallow well pump, when it starts up, it has a hard draw on the electricity. Now, if you have the amps available, that is a moot situation. The electricity doesn't care. It just goes on doing it. So in a 12 volt system, when you have a high amperage like that, like when I was running my 12 volt system with only 5 batteries in it, I was doing 1,120 amp hours. So that was pretty interesting. That's interesting too, is way up there against the side of the mountain, I see a light flashing. Let's see if I can zoom in on that while I'm here. Where is you? It should be right there. Right above that target holder. Ooh, it's just biting at my ankle. Yeah, there's something up there flashing. Oh, sorry. I had to look down at the dogs and I raised the camera. So anyway, it's right out there. See if I can zoom in a little more. Yeah, there is something out there flashing. Right about there. I'm gonna fix this. I don't know why my camera started distorting like that when I put something in front of it, because I had fixed that one time. It was a setting. I'll have to remember what the setting is and get back to fixing that. Okay, so let me get zoom back out here. And so back to the power. So in 12 volt, you have higher amps, which really works great for when you have things that have hard start motors on them. Now, hey you guys, that's the three that are always playing. Brother, sister, and a little lady there. They wrestle every afternoon. I told you I'd catch that on camera for you. All right, next, 24 volt systems. What is the advantage of going from 12 to 24? Well, when you go up in voltages, you go down in amps, but you also can use smaller wire. Because the amps are smaller, you don't have to have heavy duty copper wire, and that saves you some money. And the nice thing about 24 volts is it's a little bit easier on your inverter. The higher you raise the volts, the less the inverter has to raise the volts to create or get to the 120 volts you need. So that's one of the advantages of it. Now, the disadvantage, 24 volts, all of the inverters that you get for 24 volts usually max out at around, I don't know, 4,000, 5,000 watts. So you end up with lower available watts for your compound, depending on how much stuff you're going to run. You like to keep those watts up a little bit higher. And when you go to 48 volts, that's even worse, because like on a 48 volt, even like the batteries, okay, the maximum amp hour you can get on a 48 volt battery now is like 105 amp hours. They don't make 200 amp hour 48 volt system batteries, or 300 amp hour 48 volt. If they did, it'd be a big unit, and somebody may be making those, but they'll be really big and heavy and bulky and hard to handle. So that's another disadvantage there. I just wanted to get that part out to you, and that's stuff that I'm learning along the way here on systems. Now, I do miss my 12 volt system because I didn't have to have a separate system to run my well pump. It ran great on 5 230 amp hour 12.8 volt batteries. But like I said, I was pushing 1,120 amp hours into a 12.8 system, so I had some pretty good watts there. Now I'm running the same batteries minus 1, so I'm down to 230 amp hours at 51.2 volts. So the watts equal out the same, but my amps are down low. So when that pump tries to start, it causes a freak out on my system. There are pluses and minuses to it, and I try to help people with that along the way, because I had to learn all this stuff on my own. When I started, there was nobody out there that could tell me all this information and help me, and trust me, I did check. And that's what made me start a YouTube channel. Well, not completely, not fully honestly. I started it as just a way of keeping a journal of moving off grid. And instead of writing it all on paper that could get destroyed, I figured I would put it all in a video bank that's on the internet that will last as long as the internet does, right? Well, that was my plan, and I'm sticking to it. All right, everybody, I want to thank you all for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and share. And you got to learn to share, man. And I don't mean Sonny and share. All right. So remember all of those good old songs. I'm not going to sing tonight, but just a memory. Thanks, everybody. This is G Bear signing off.